And welcome back to Pure Nebraska. Here on the program, we do like to put the spotlight on the farm women's group Common Ground. Volunteers with the group are always working to spread a positive message about agriculture to consumers.
In today's Common Ground segment, we are talking about food labels. Now, there are many examples where food packaging might display a non-GMO label, but the product never had GMOs in the first place. So to tell us more about that is Common Ground Volunteer Leslie Boswell. And Leslie, thanks for driving here today.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. What's everything like in your area right now?
Crazy. Everybody's really in a rush trying to get things done. It seems like it's way too early to get a lot of farming done, but yet it is April, so in about 2 weeks or less, we should be planting.
Should be
They're getting ready.
All right. Well, you hear a lot about GMOs right now, and you see a lot of food packaging now that says non-GMO, but some of these foods never had GMOs to begin with, right?
That's correct.
So how can a consumer know the difference, or what should we look for?
Really, if you do just a little bit of research, and I know that there's all kinds of stuff on internet, Google, whatever, that is misleading. But if you know the basics, you know that there are a lot of items that are marked non-GMO that never were. There's a citrus fruit in the market that is marked non-GMO. There are no citrus that is a GMO. There's also hormones that I've seen some poultry that was marked no hormones added. There is no hormones added to any poultry. It's against federal regulation. There's also no hormones in pork. So when you see a label like that, it's almost playing into fears and misinformation, but with just a little bit of research and knowing your products, you can understand that that is an irrelevant label and just ignore it.
Leslie, how can they get away with that? I mean, I suppose they can do what they want on their labels, or?
In some ways they can. It's a marketing deal. They found a niche. They think that they can set themselves apart from other products by putting that on their label, and it's almost playing into fears, which is one of the reasons I think Common Ground was actually started in the first place, was because we're trying to get to consumers to make them not afraid of what they're buying. We don't want them to be scared off by these labels, and we want them to understand that some of them are only playing into this marketing ploy. They're not necessarily, it's not falsehood, because there are no hormones there, but there never were.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit misleading.
And confusing.
And just because this chicken says that it's got no hormones added doesn't mean the next one does, because it doesn't either.
Do you think consumers might be paying a little bit more even for a package that says no hormones added versus a package that doesn't, and maybe consumers need to look for that as well?
In some cases, that is true. They are marking things up. It's like paying more for water marked wet. I mean,
That's a good way to put it.
you just don't need to do it.
Yeah, right.
And so there's times where the marketing industry has really played up this, but it really is not necessary, and it's making people hesitant, and we don't want that. We have got an abundance of safe food in the United States. We do all of the testing that we need to do. There's only a few crops that are actually GMO, and they're not in your produce aisle.
Right.
So, other than papayas. So they just need to know, be informed, and don't be scared of it.
Yes, and my apologies. I was supposed to make a graphic about the crops that were GMO, and there's only a few really that are. Most of the rest of them that you find in the store, no.
No, they're not. Soybeans, corn, both field or dent corn that we feed to cattle, and sweet corn. Let's see if I can remember them. Canola, alfalfa, papaya, summer squash, and I'll bet there's at least one more that I'm not thinking of.
I'll look
but
it up,
those,
and we'll have it after the break. But.
Sure. But those are the only things that are actually GMOs. So cotton was one. There just aren't that many things that we're actually consuming that are GMOs.
But the bottom line is just be aware of this.
But GMOs have been proven safe anyway, so whether they are or not, it really should not affect the products that you're buying.
Okay.
All right, Leslie, thank you. Good to know. And you're going to stay around, right?
Yes, I am.
All right. That's always good.